Rev up your engines! Today I'm continuing my never-ending search for ways you can save money fixing your car by showing you how to save money buying car repair tools. Now, I've been fixing cars for the last 50 years. And if I had bought all the tools that I got crammed into this garage brand new, I'd have over $250,000 of money out of my pocket. But yes, Scotty is cheap. I didn't spend but a fraction of that money buying these tools because I got a lot of them used. I didn't have much money when I was a young mechanic. Heck, people were making $1.25 an hour back then. So I bought a lot of used tools. And I found out one thing about tools very early. Brand new tools can cost an awful lot of money, but if you're hard for cash and need some quick money and try to sell your tools, most tools have very low resale value. So take advantage of that yourself. And here's a perfect example of it lurking in the back of my garage. My old air compressor. I paid $90 for this used from a pawn shop over 35 years ago. Hey, it still works like a charm. It's a professional grade compressor. 35 years I've had it. It still works great. And say you don't want to buy a used compressor, you can get a new one pretty cheap these days. Now, I bought this backup compressor for about $120 on sale, brand new from Harbor Freight Tools. Granted, it's not the quality of my compressor. That's the professional one that I bought in a pawn shop years ago. It's my backup. And if you're not a professional mechanic like me and just doing your own stuff, one of those compressors can be perfectly good for one guy running air tools. But really, my old professional one, it's so good, even though I bought it used and had it for 35 years, I never had to use the backup one yet when I was working because the old one hasn't broken yet. So taking a trip to the local pawn shop, hey, that can save you a bunch of money. They have many tools, you can pick through them, and realize one thing about pawn shops. Bartering still exists in that world. Just because it's got a price of $100, you can barter them down in almost every single case because you're paying cash generally, and cash rules. Sure, sometimes you got to walk out of the store and then they'll say, oh, come back, we'll sell it to you for this much less. But it's kind of a fun thing to do. I like bartering when it comes to buying stuff myself. Learned it from my grandfather. But here's one warning when you go to a pawn shop. If you see tools that are actually brand new tools, you want to check out what the make is, do a little research on their quality, because a lot of them these days just buy the really cheap Asian tools and then sell them. They're not a pawn shop deal, they're just being a seller of cheap tools there. Nobody pawned the cheap tools, they just bought them from China and are trying to sell them. And believe me, you don't want to buy the cheapest tools possible in terms of quality. My knuckles are still in good shape because I buy quality hand tools. I don't want them breaking when I'm pulling on stuff. So be really leery about cheap brand new tools in a package. A lot of times they're just poorly made. You don't want to buy those. Heck, I used to buy Sears Craftsman tools. They were decent tools. This Ratchet, hey, had a lifetime guarantee. This is like the 8th one I've had in the last 45 years. They just kept replacing them, but unfortunately the store I used to go to is gone now. They shut it down, so maybe Craftsman isn't such a good idea anymore. In that case, you might switch to Duralast tools from AutoZone. Look at that, guaranteed for life. They've got the same thing, and it doesn't look like the AutoZones are going to be disappearing anytime soon. And it's always a good idea to have a store somewhere near you that sells tools that you use all the time in case you either break yours or lose it in the middle of a job, so you can just zoom down the street, get another one, and come back and fix it, rather than wait weeks for it to come in the mail. Now, you really can't fix any modern car without a decent scan tool, so I'm going to show you how you can save money buying a scan tool. Now, there's zillions of scan tools out there, but you have to decide how much money you want to spend and how far you want to go analyzing stuff. For example, this Creator, hey, it's less than 50 bucks. It does live data, it does trouble codes, erasing stuff, it does some pretty basic stuff, and for 50 bucks, that does a decent job. But if you're really serious about fixing your car, this Actron Auto Scanner Plus does a really good job. Now, I paid 250 bucks for this when it was new, and I use it all the time as a professional mechanic because it's so fast. It's much faster than my giant machines that have to be set up, and I can often fix the problem with this tiny little thing. So if you can find one used, great, or even better, get together with your friends. say you got 5 friends. You'd each only have to fork out $50 and you get one of these top-notch scan tools. Hey, since they fit every car sold in the United States since 1996, you can use them on all kinds of cars. You're not a professional mechanic. You don't need it all the time, so you can share it amongst friends. Now, if you're going to work on your car, you need a good jack. But don't try to save too much money just buying a cheap little jack. I mean, this little jack was like $40 at a discount auto parts store. But I bought this gigantic one at Harbor Freight Tools, and it cost me $69 when it was on sale. And I know people are going to say, oh, Scotty, you're buying tools at Harbor Freight Tools. They sell a lot of junky tools. Well, yeah, some of their tools are junky and cheap. I'm not going to argue with that. But some of them are reasonable quality. As with any tool, you want to do a little research. For example, I bought a cheap electric saw from Harbor Freight Tools. The thing broke within a year, was a pile of junk. So I went to a pawn shop. I bought a DeWalt. I did some research. Good tools. It worked great. Saved money buying it used, but I bought a quality one. I didn't buy another new cheap one, because the new cheap ones are exactly like that. They're new, but they're cheap. So there's actually lots of ways you can save money buying tools to fix your car, but what the heck? Why not start your search at a pawn shop? And since this is Mechanic Monday, I'll be giving away some tools I bought at a pawn shop. To have a chance to win, just place a clean, non-offensive comment on the YouTube comments below, and a winner will be chosen randomly by computer to win some free tools. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.